Hello, this is Abby. I have a note at the beginning of this podcast, which is kind of funny because I have notes in the podcast that you're going to hear in a minute. I recorded this podcast when I was in my car, and I didn't realize that it was hooked up through my car microphone and not my phone. So it sounds like crap. But it is what it is. I'm not going to re-record it only because it's one of those in-the-moment things, and it's just perfectly imperfect or super imperfect perfectly. Well, anywho, I hope you enjoy. Hello, and welcome to A Moment with Abby. Ding. Hi, guys. It's been a while. It's been a long while. It's been a couple years. So if you're new here and you are new to our friendship, me, what have you, whatever it is, I used to have a podcast in 2020 during the many lockdowns in England. And now we moved back to America, and I have a lot of time on my hands. And it turns out when I have time on my hands, I get antsy. So in order to fill the time, I am going to, share my thoughts, feelings, and everything else with you guys on certain topics that have come up in the time that I have been away. And as you all know, I do have obsessions with things, and if you want to, you can go back and listen to the other podcasts. And really, this is just for my mom and my Nina and my grandma and my friends, it's just something fun and silly to it's to bond us together when we are far apart. And I want to do a couple of little notes, housekeeping notes, where there's going to be no editing. I don't have a computer. It's still, being shipped to us. Apparently, supposedly, it's going to be sent to us on Tuesday. We shall see. So I'm going to be recording this on my phone. I'm in my car, so we're going to say, welcome to A Moment with Abby, Car Edition. Automobile Edition, Car Edition, anywho. So there's going to be no editing. And really, since it's on my phone, there is an option to turn off the spaces between and everything else. Well, sorry, you're going to get my my big old heavy breath, all of it at this time. So let's get into this. I want to preface this podcast title with, I'm not a doctor. I am expressing my opinion and offering my experience with mental health, and I want to share this deep topic because I just need to get off my chest. It has to go. It's been a burden, a bit of a burden. So the title of this, with me not being a doctor and having no experience, I just want to share with people and kind of bond with each other. It is depression as an optimistic person, which sounds stupid. It sounds it's too contradictory, but it is who I am, which, if you met me, you might understand it. I am usually a very positive person. I think about topics and different things on the positive side, and recently I have not. I have been very depressed, and a lot of it has to do with the move from a foreign country to back to America. A lot has changed, and really it's not so much that as it's finding my purpose. Now, we all understand that I am a Christian. I believe my purpose is to spread God's love and His Word and everything else. But it's also, I'm also called to do something, right? We can't just be idle. I've been very idle for the past couple months, and it has been really weighing on me. So, crying I'm not a crier, and being down and that, personality change, it's not me. So my husband looked at me and he was like, can you get a hold of a therapist? And I was like, okay, fine. I had no fight in me, so I just did it. And let me tell you, I love my new therapist. And I found her through Telemind. We have TRICARE insurance, and, we're military, so that's what we have. We have TRICARE for, anything and everything. That's what we have for medical. And they have a service, and usually Abby, who is level-headed and is in her, and I'm not going to say normal mode, but it's like her more base, because it's at your zero base mode. I will overthink things, or I will research things to the nth degree. This time I did not, because like I said, I had no fight in me. And I was like, Telemind, therapy through Zoom? Yeah, all right, I don't care, whatever. It was the best decision, the best decision I ever made at the request of my spouse. So I always joke about, you date your hair person, you date like your services, like people that your nail person, like you have to date around to find your soulmate in those services. And I knew right in the moment when I first met my therapist that we were meant to be. And she kind of said a couple of things that resonated with me on a very deep level. So why am I sharing this? Why am I being so overly open? Not only is this a part of my personality, it is also something I know I'm not alone with. I am not the only one who deals with this as a military spouse. It is every time we move. Every time. I'm in a different season of life. My kids are older, but it's always the same. I moved when my youngest was 6 months old, and I had depression after that. And I generally get postpartum depression. And as the older I get and the different seasons that I'm in, it just gets a little more heavy. And talking with my therapist, and I don't want to sound that like I am tooting my own horn or anything, because I am not in that place. But we leave like joy and happiness wherever we go. You're like, how does that not sound prideful? Literally, everywhere we go, our family, we try to better the community, or we try to better the circumstances of, on big scales or little scales, like even like the most minuscule, we want to leave a place better than we found it. And that's taxing. It's exhausting. And it hit me this last time, where it was just like not in my character to just not want to do anything. And I think it's because the kids are older. And I know I'm not the only one. So yes, I'm sharing this with everybody because honestly, we all need therapy. There should not be stigma about it. I'm on medication. There shouldn't be stigma. I think more than half the world is medicated, for whatever reason. Why does mental health have to be looked down upon? We don't always have to be happy. We don't always have to present our best self. I can't. It's exhausting, and I know I'm not the only one that's experiencing it. So if anything, that any part of this can help anybody, if you have TRICARE, get on Telemind. It's Zoom. It is magic. And honestly, I'm meeting her every week. That's something you can't get when you're in England. I was meeting once a month, and that was honestly begging for an appointment. I mean, come on. I mean, it's almost embarrassing how bad the mental health care is, for military spouses in general. So I know the majority of the people that I know are military spouses. If you're having a hard time, honestly, talk to someone, get it out of your head. That way they can organize your thoughts. And let me tell you, I'm the most unorganized, self-critical human being. And speaking out loud to somebody who doesn't have anything to gain from what I am saying or what I am feeling, and they're just a third-party listener. has been life-saving. Now, I'm not saying I take certain thoughts of, unaliving or anything. I thank the Lord, thank Jesus, I've never had those thoughts. But if anybody ever has, therapy is amazing. And like I said, I'm not a doctor, I am not a therapist, I am not anything. This is my own experience, and I know I'm not the only one. So I'm just sharing that. We're getting the dark and heavy stuff out of the way. Just done. Now, this is, I'm sure a bunch of you are super new to my podcast. I'd love to end with a call to action. I love to end my podcast with a positive thought. And yes, in the background, you hear my car air conditioning because it is a moment with Abby car edition. And it's hot. I'm in Florida. And I was like in my car, and I'm like, I need to get this off my chest. I need to share it because I know that there's someone out there that's kind of teetering on, should I make that appointment? Yes. What are you going to gain? Nothing but positivity. Nothing but good, right? Talking to a therapist where you walk out and be like, ugh, that was terrible. Now, sometimes they do. Sometimes people do. But, let's say 9 out of 10 times, you're going to find a therapist that's going to look at you in your eye, and there's going to be sparks because there's understanding behind them and empathy. So, Anyway, so like I said, I like to end my podcast with a call to action. And it is, I like to call it the good of the day. So with the good of the day, we are always in our heads. And it can be very just judgmental of yourself and dark sometimes. So how about we get out of our heads this week and we go up to somebody and we compliment them about anything. My middle daughter is fantastic at this. She has no fear. So she'll go up to somebody and she'll be like, we love the way you look today. We were just talking about how beautiful you look. Like, no issues. Like, she just goes up and shares her positivity with people. So go up to anyone, even if it's someone in your house. Just go up to them and be like, you know what, I'm really proud of the way you handled some situation. If it's like your child or whatever, or your spouse. Or you could say, you could be at a grocery store and you're like, oh my gosh, her sandals are so cute. And I say sandals because I'm in effing hot Florida. And you can go up to them and say, you know what, I love your sandals. And just leave it at that. You don't even have to be like, where'd you get them? It doesn't even have to be a conversation. Smile and book it if you don't want to have a conversation. Sometimes I sit and knit and I like to do a private conversation because that's me. I'm an extrovert. So, okay, let me tell you a little story. Yesterday, we were at the pier and I saw this pregnant girl and, she was very pregnant. There's no, could she be, she was. She has this adorable dress on. It had a little cutout on her belt. Oh, it was adorable. And so I was tired. My shins hurt because we were working out. And they're like, oh, why don't you go tell her how cute she is? And I'm like, I'm tired. My daughter, middle one, gets up, walks over and says, we were just admiring about your outfit and how beautiful you are. Hope you have a good day. And pieces out. And I was like, that is magic. She could be exhausted, finally put on some makeup and got dressed, or maybe she does it because it makes her feel good as she finally had some affirmation, a little positivity sprinkled around. So, your call to action, the good of the day, go up to someone, anyone, small baby steps, and compliment them. And also, I just want to shout out to air conditioning and tinted windows, because it is hot. Anywho, guys, I'm going to be posting maybe once a week. Depends on how I'm feeling and how busy. Apparently, like I said, supposedly, we are getting our household goods, or not household goods, the other stuff, our shipment Tuesday. So I might be just completely wrapped up in boxes next week, and maybe I need to just have an escape and do a podcast, because I have a bunch of ideas. And if you want to share some ideas with me, please post them in the comments. message them to me, text them to me, call me. We can talk about it. I love to have visitors on the podcast as well. I have a little bot that helps connect me with a guest over. I can't remember what it was, but we record together and everything else. So, anywho, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you all. We are not alone. We're in this together, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. All right. Bye. Bye.